It's an honor to be here once again this year. I'm going to start this introduction the same way that I've started the previous years because I think it speaks volumes about not only the foundation, but also the education that North Allegheny provides. We have North Allegheny alumni, many of whom we've honored here at this event, who have been on Broadway, who have lived in space, who have played professional sports, who are leaders in our communities, who are lifesavers in operating rooms, and who we hear daily on the radio, and that is just the beginning. I personally have a pretty exciting career. Growing up in Pittsburgh, I was, of course, an avid sports fan, so I combined my passions and I made a career out of it. Now I get paid to watch sports and write about what I see at a third grade level. So my third grade teacher at Bradford Woods Elementary School all those years ago would be very proud to know she did her job. My wife and I, Megan, live in Ingomar with our two beautiful children. Our daughter Delaney will be 4 next month. She's a little under the weather, so the girls are at home tonight. But our son Tyler, who is blushing at table 3 right now, is here with me tonight. He's in Mrs. Emma Kleckner's second grade class at Ingomar Elementary, thriving because of the opportunities this school district provides, even at a young age. He doesn't know if he wants to be a baseball player or a pilot or a chef yet, but my wife and I know that North Allegheny is going to prepare him for whatever it is he wants to do. And maybe one day, Tyler, you will be up here accepting a Distinguished Alumni Award. Tonight, we honor North Allegheny alumni who are difference makers in the community and around the world. We'll raise the curtain tonight in the category of the arts. She is best known for her title performance in the opera Salome, which she's portrayed with several different opera companies. She has performed in countless other operas across the world. Please welcome from the class of 1993, Kirsten Chambers.
My love for the arts began at NA with my music teacher, Mrs. Brobst, at Bradford Woods Elementary School. She taught us how to read music, and that is a rare thing nowadays. Like all my music teachers at NA, she went over and beyond her classroom responsibilities, encouraging me to audition for what is now the Pittsburgh Youth Chorus. Through them, I sang with the Pittsburgh Opera in 5th grade and knew from that moment on that I had to be an opera singer. That dream came true. I made my living singing leading roles at the Metropolitan Opera, Carnegie Hall, and at international opera houses. But to be a working singer, I'm so not used to using a microphone. Opera singers don't use microphones. Okay. But to be a working singer, you also have to be an incredible actress. Mr. Moser and Mrs. Rittman directed me in the NA musicals, where I played Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. They believed in my talent and encouraged me to take emotional chances and challenges. At Ingomar Middle School, Mr. Dahlhoff stretched the rules and let me be a part of 3x5, the high school treble group, even though I was only in 9th grade. I was a young woman who struggled with self-esteem. Music classes at NA was where I felt most myself. It was in those classes that I met my closest NA friends in band, choir, musicals, and theater. I took myself and opera much too seriously. But thanks to some amazing NA friends who saw past all of that, I have a community that will last a lifetime. And finally, Ernie Pontier, who I spoke with today, my high school choir teacher, taught me the most important lesson of all: not to take it all so seriously, because to be a real artist requires you to be human, to play, to risk, to be vulnerable, and to imagine. Mr. P can't be here tonight, but he sends his love, especially to Dr. Butterini, who always knew everyone's name and made us feel seen and valued, and it's incredible that I'm being honored with him here tonight. But Mr. P's actually having dinner tonight with my mom in Sarasota, which is why she can't be here. I would like to close by thanking my family at table 9. No one has been a greater supporter than my mom, my sisters, my now brother, my Aunt Eileen and my Uncle Dusty, who have traveled near and far everywhere to see my performances. Opera is important because it unites us and explores what it means to be human. I'm working now for Virginia Opera, so if any of you are in the area and you haven't seen an opera before, I encourage you to do so. It changed my life. Okay, thank you.
Good. All right, we have a brand new initiative this year. If you turn to page 10 in your program, it'll introduce you to Tiger Powered, Empower the Extraordinary. It's a fundraiser for various grants for all the schools in the district. There's a list of grants that have already been awarded on there. If you are able to financially to support North Allegheny, that's the place to do it. From the stage, we turn to the boardroom. After graduating from NA, our next honoree earned his bachelor's degree from Penn State and his master's from Indiana University. After beginning his career with Trane Commercial Heating and Air Conditioning, he was promoted to president and later CEO of Club Car before retiring last year. And matter of fact, I saw his golf cart parked out there at the valet. In the category of business from the class of 1991, please welcome Mark Wagner.
Good evening. Thank you very much for this recognition. I wanted to thank the North Allegheny Foundation and thank the co-chairs for putting this all together. Lots of communications over the last month or so, especially our table seemed to expand. Thanks for my family all being here, my wife Carrie, my oldest Brendan, my brother and sister, my mom is here, the in-laws and the outlaws that we call them. We were going to have a tailgate out front, but I'm from the South, a little too cold to do that for me in the parking lot now. Wanted to share a couple thoughts about my memories from NA. For me and my wife and our families, that really started with athletics. So we played a bunch of sports at NA. I met my wife, Carrie, playing NA volleyball. 26 years we've been married, but we're high school sweethearts, so we've been together 36, which is wild, and it all started here. Carrie and I both won state championships as part of NA volleyball, Coach Bob Miller's legacy and his dynasty of NA volleyball. So that really stuck with me. I think my senior year in 1991, NA won 10 or 11 or 12 state championships. I think they've done that a lot lately, but that was really novel then. I got a front row seat to see Bob and other coaches before Dr. Butterini, Dr. Barnes, and a bunch of administrators. They were all super strong leaders. So I got to see that really close, what good communication looks like, motivation, how they inspired, but also to win championships like that, there was a lot of work, a lot of strategy, a lot of tactics. I also saw that they really worked on the youth that came up, especially Bob. There was young kids playing in those programs very early on. So when I began my career, I kind of had that base to understand that I was a sales guy coming out of college, but I had to be a good team player for all those years. When I eventually became a leader and built my own teams or grew my own teams, I had that basis to come from. So, how do you target and identify? How do you realize what passion people have and how do you unleash that? But how do you do it every year? It's one thing to win one year, but bringing up young talent and developing young talent was critically important in my career. The academics at NA are crazy, especially we've lived all over the U.S., and academics aren't the same in public school districts. Some opportunities I had at NA that I remember, a bunch of us, I think including Brian, we were bused from Carson Middle School to the intermediate to take high school math classes as middle schoolers. So I remember doing that. Our teacher was a crazy, kind of quirky guy named Mr. Lutz. And he made, yeah, is he here? But he made math fun. It was the hardest, fastest paced class I ever took, and it was super fun. And I remember that, and that kind of stuck with me. There's a high school chemistry teacher, I think junior or senior year, Mr. Wienand, and he used to put gas into water bottles and light them on fire and shoot them down the hallways. And just to show us what a chemical reaction was. So, I'm an engineer, and that was that math and science base from those teachers and a bunch of others really drove me to engineering at Penn State. I was hired right off that campus, and that engineering piece was really, really important, and those teachers really built that foundation. Lastly, for me, we come back for holidays, but we haven't spent a lot of time in Western Pennsylvania, but I feel like Western Pennsylvania roots are always with me and are always part of me as a leader. The kind of devotion to people, maybe a simple approach to leadership, and the humble way to do it is how I did it for 30 years. I got comfortable over time, even though it's uncomfortable in boardrooms or shareholder meetings or lenders, but I spent a ton of time in the manufacturing plant around the world. My favorite thing to do was weave inside the assembly lines and talk to the operators, and I made unbelievable business decisions by listening to the people doing the work. So, that's a tribute to how I was raised, a tribute to who I grew up with, and experiences at NA. So, thank you all very much. Oh, great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next honoree took his talents to the eastern side of Pennsylvania. He has been called the mayor of Penn Street in the city of Reading for his work in that community. He's worked in the hospitality industry for more than 50 years, but his work goes far beyond the hotel walls. In the category of community service from the class of 1967, please welcome Craig Poole.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for the honor. I appreciate it. I want to thank my table at table 11. These are all people from North Allegheny. Well, most of them graduated from North Allegheny, and 1, 2, 3 of them graduated with me in 1967. My sister and Chris Devlin, he graduated. He used to play pro ball. He graduated with, what year did you graduate? 71. He's young. So my testimony is, for the younger people, I am that guy that walked 2 miles to school every day. They didn't close schools for snow back then. And that's the way it was. So we came up the hard road. But we came up a good road. And North Allegheny was wonderful to me. I wasn't the greatest student in the world. I had to work hard. I had to learn more. I had to work harder at learning than most people. And I went on and created this great career, working in marginalized cities with marginalized people, and I turned them around. So the thing that I still work with cities that are broken. They call me. Hotels that are broken, they call me. And I'm raising up a couple hotels in the city right now. I had to retire 2 years ago because I ended up getting pancreatic cancer, and I'm a survivor. So I say that out loud because thank you. Yeah. Because people have diseases, right? And I've spent a life with creating hope for people. It was about how do you have hope? How do you get to live longer? How do you get to live better? So I created this through hope. My parents brought me up with hope. People had hope in me. And it worked out just fine. But we built a hotel. A guy named Albert Boskoff, who had department stores, and we built a hotel in the second poorest city with the second highest crime rate in the country. And now rated dirtiest. It's in Reading, PA. And we built a brand new hotel in a city that was marginalized and broken and forgotten. And my promise was that we would open this, and we would do it to change the city. And we did. We hired we had 208 people. That's what we started with. 192 of them were walk to work, felons, homeless, all kinds of different people that never worked in a great environment like we did. We had a DoubleTree there, and it was a brand new, and it became the #1 DoubleTree in the world 4 years in a row. And because we took the learning process of what is hospitality, how do we take people that are broken and how do we elevate them? So every time I got an award, and we got a lot of them, I always brought someone with me who might have been in prison for a while or might have been homeless or whatever, because those are the people that raised it up. And people would come to this hotel. We outgrew the hotel. We started running a country club and other restaurants, and had a very large catering company with another couple 100,000 square foot. And the job wasn't about money. It was about how do we bring people up? How do we hire more people? And there's a thing that says, follow me and I'll be on my photo. That's one of my favorite photos because I invented this concept. Instead of servant leadership, because people were watering it down, I said, let's call it followship, based on Christ saying, follow me and I'll make you fishermen, based on Mahatma Gandhi saying, follow me, we'll pick the salt out of the sea. Follow me from Martin Luther King said, follow me. And they had to take a rough road. They all got beat up, went to jail, all kinds of things happened. And I decided I'm going to be that person, and I'm going to go lay my life down for the people in the city. And I still do that today when I can. But North Allegheny was wonderful to me. This was my backyard because I lived on Winchester Drive when I was young, right off of Remington. And we did walk up the hill through the snow, through all the snow. And then I grew up out in Allison Park later on. But it was lovely. It was about community and friendships. So here I am today with people that were my friends forever. And they've supported me. As I went through cancer, they would contact me and lifted me up and prayed for me and stayed by me. A lot of people don't do that when they go to school somewhere, right? They don't have the connections. But North Allegheny was able to build a connection with this fellowships that I have, that they surrounded me with love and help. And then they all showed up here today. And they were going to come. They called me and said, we're going to come. And I said, that's okay, I'll buy a table. Anybody who wants to come to see me get an award, I got to buy you something. I got to pay you off because that's what I know how to do. But, we were developers, right? But anyways, North Allegheny was great to me. Living in the North Hills was great to me. We had a great life. My son was born at Passavant 53 years ago. I go to Passavant Hillman Center now, 53 years later. So we had a lot of roots here. And we've never sold we own a home here, and we moved around, but we always kept a home because we knew we were going to come back here because Pittsburgh's always your home. Always loved North Allegheny, always bragged about it. When I lived in Berks County, Wyomissing High School played against North Allegheny, and I was always excited that when North Allegheny beat them. But anyways, I appreciate being asked to come here. I just have a humble story. I grew up sitting, after I got out of school, I started sitting on curbs. I did, for real, to learn why Why were they on the curbs? I needed to understand who they were and what happened to you. And I started that sitting on curbs at a restaurant we had in Washington, D.C. in 1971. By the way, my wife's here. We've been married 55 years this week. Right. Right. And I'm in the booze and bed business, so that's even better. But we're just thankful to be here. Did an honor. But people matter. I spend my time, by end of my career, I was spending it working with kids in school that have lead-based paint in their houses, so they're never going to learn right. They were treating their student at 5 years old instead of getting rid of the paint at 0 when they first entered it. So we got initiatives going like that. We took kids and people that have 200, in poor cities, people have, their credit scores are 200 or less. And we knew that if we could raise their scores, their credit scores to 700, we have a 700 credit neighborhood. It took a lot of learning and a lot of teaching to get a whole city to rise up. And we didn't call it financial literacy, we called it financial awareness. And then they came and they wanted to learn. And the goal was to get people homes. Because once you own a home, kids graduate from school, marriages last longer, everything just happens at 700. And we were able to raise many people to 700. We helped get many people homes, get them stability, and that's what we did. And North Allegheny gave me a lot of that, the family of it, the teachers of it, the community, mostly the community that I was in, and the parents that we grew up with. But we were able to change a lot of lives, and we're still doing it today. I'm still kind of working with somebody in South Dakota and around here, and some places around the world I still get in touch with. But I'm thankful that I got to do this. I'm thankful for the award. But that's the end.
Craig. Slide down.
Absolutely.
This just hit me. Hey, I got a mic. I didn't drop it. Don't give up on the kid that's an average student. They change the world sometimes, right?
We are all here tonight because of our wonderful teachers. 3 of mine are sitting at that table right there, in the cheap seats, but they're here. Mr. Truesdale, Mr. and Mrs. Harrell, 3 of the best North Allegheny has. Absolutely. And our next honoree not only attended North Allegheny, but began her career here before working as an education consultant and now working as Chief Executive Officer of Provident Charter Schools, specifically designed to help students with dyslexia. In the category of education from the class of 1988, please welcome Maria Paulicelli.
I need a step stool.
Here we go. I think we're good. Right here?
No, I'm just going to say it. I'm short. I mean, it's embarrassing. I could use a step stool. Good evening. Okay, is this good? It's an honor to be recognized anywhere, but it truly is an honor to be recognized by North Allegheny for me, because North Allegheny is home. It's I grew up also very close. I attended kindergarten. I graduated here. I came back to North Allegheny after college and was hired by Paul Cammarata at Ingomar Elementary and taught there and taught at Peebles. I love the small neighborhood schools. And so it truly is home for me. And then I even went on to marry another North Allegheny alum from the class of 1986. So lots of NA in my life. And when I reflect on my time at North Allegheny, I invariably think about the teachers and the adults. I was happy to see some that I've taught with in the past. A teacher of mine, I can't even believe that still, graduating in '88, but, and it's funny who you remember, and there's some research about why we remember certain teachers, but I invariably thought about those who had impact and influenced me, Mr. John Braden at Carson Middle School, and I thought about him because I think he saw things in me that I probably didn't see in myself, and afforded me some opportunities that were significant in a young gal's life. And so still, after all of this time, over 40 years, that lingers. Since I married a North Allegheny graduate, I also am able to hear from time to time about the impact that North Allegheny has had on his life. And just recently, a few weeks ago, my husband, Mike, was talking to our son, our youngest son. They were watching football, and my husband was sharing his love of football and how the realization when he realized in school that his football career was going to end because he couldn't play anymore. He had kind of plateaued, I suppose. I'm not going to say anything more about it. I don't really know what happened. Well, I do, but it was just coming to an end, and it was significant for him. And he said, but there was one teacher, Sam, there was one teacher that was so special to me, and he helped me, persevere and keep trying. He said, because he believed in me. And so from 3 rooms across the house, a light bulb goes off because my worlds collide. My world as an educator and what I know about the research that talks about achievement for students who have teachers who believe in them and who tell them that they believe in them. And I'm hearing, like over this football game, Mr. Light believed in me. And I thought, Mr. Light? Well, there's a lot of things that we remember about Mr. Light, but wow, he believed in you, okay? So my world then also as a mom and a wife and how education has impacted our family. After being in schools, in and around schools for about 30 years, I have developed come to some simple conclusions about what makes schools exceptional, and North Allegheny certainly is exceptional. Schools are really just buildings when, until the teachers and the leaders of teachers show up and occupy them. And I think that teachers, what make exceptional teachers are 3 things: love of your subject and your content, love of your students, and being able, as Mr. Light did over 40 years ago, more, who knows, the expressed belief that you can be successful as a student, as a learner. So love of subject, love of student, and expressed belief in success. Really, to me, are what schools are all about. And after I left North Allegheny, I think if I would have stayed, this would have been like my 30th or 31st year as a teacher there. But I did leave North Allegheny. I found myself among some visionaries who shared my love of literacy instruction, my love of students, specifically students who have learning challenges, those with dyslexia. And I had the honor and privilege to work with them to open 2 schools. Provident Charter Schools exist to serve students with dyslexia, and we truly change trajectories for students. I am so fortunate that we have been able to do the work that we've been able to do. I think that students with dyslexia have exceptional brains if they can get through the difficult time of elementary school, learning to read. And we open our door with those 3 things I talk about. We open our doors encouraging students like, you haven't been able to learn yet, you haven't been able to be successful, but you can learn, and we know how to teach you to learn, and we believe in you. And so we have had great success. I'm very thankful for the Board of Trustees of Provident Charter Schools who are here this evening, many of them, as well as my team. There is no I in team, right? Team Maria is certainly started with my family. Opening schools and being part of startup comes with a lot of challenges and sacrifices. And my family, my husband Mike, my parents, my in-laws. I have 4 sons, my 1 son here tonight, and I am daily humbled by the group of professionals that I work with, my team also of administrators, teachers, people who love their subject, their students, and help us all, help them learn that, or know that we believe in them and they can learn. This has been truly an honor for me, as I said, because it is a coming home thing. It's been nice to see so many people tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to-
Our next honoree has a jaw-dropping resume in government and law. After graduating from NA, he earned an ROTC scholarship to Penn State and studied meteorology. Then over the course of his 24-year Air Force career, served at 10 locations and completed 3 deployments. In his current position, he lobbies for congressional funding for NOAA, NASA, USGS, and the Department of Defense. Please welcome from the class of 1996, Bradley Harbaugh.
Hey, good evening. So Dr. Butterini, I know you've been talked about a few times. I'm just going to bring up one more thing. It's nice to finally talk to you again after 30 years. We only actually talked one time before in your office, and actually I didn't really talk now that I think about it. I listened and you talked. And it's funny because I didn't realize you were a Marine till tonight, and so that makes a lot of sense. But I won't discuss any more details because if I do, they might take this award away from me. So, you know, I want to start by thanking my family for being here, my lovely wife, Caroline, and our soon-to-be baby girl, 10 weeks, let's do this, right? And my sons, Carson and Ethan. These 2 are rock star studs down in Fairfax County Public Schools playing football. Don't come up here and play North Allegheny. It wouldn't end well. One of my biggest regrets, and I'm being serious about this, is that I never moved us back here so you had the chance to be part of the North Allegheny community. I think you guys would have thrived here. You're still doing great, but I am disappointed about that. But just know that the people around here, there's some great people in this room, and you guys are, what you're doing, you're part of a community where you're at, and as you grow up, you guys are getting a great education in Fairfax County Public Schools. So my brother Todd, my best friend, who's the chief engineer at KDKA, you probably have seen him on the sidelines of football games, running around with cameras, or at the swim meets doing hype videos and stuff. He's also the swim club booster president, if I'm not mistaken. Heavily involved in 1991 graduate from NA. My awesome nephew Alex, who was at a swim meet tonight, junior, right? Did you guys win? You kicked Butler's butt? That's awesome. Are we going to win states this year? There we go. He said it. And then I also want to thank my mom, Bonnie Falashidi, who came up here from Florida for this. She purposely moved to Florida to get out of the weather, and I dragged her back for this. Thanks for putting up with it. You've already changed your flight, I think, to get back to make sure you miss the storm, right? And then finally, I want to thank my special guest, Rodney Smith, who's the CEO of Advanced Environmental Monitoring, AEM, the company at which I work for now. I want to thank you, one, for coming tonight and showing support, but two, when somebody has a military career that lasts 24 years, you don't always get the easiest transition from it, and Rodney and the team at AEM offered a really soft parachute landing into a position, and it's just been wonderful working for you for the last couple years. And it made me start to think, as I was thinking about my job and my career, and also the history at North Allegheny. The very first newspaper clipping I was ever in was in the 8th grade. It was a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette article, and it was with Mr. Meyer, who was an 8th grade science teacher, worked with Mr. Gillespie, and I was on the weather forecasting team. So we would come in once a week in the morning. And anyway, in this picture, there was Mr. Meyer pointing at a computer monitor and me looking in awe as he's pointing out the observation from the weather station that's coming from the roof of the Ingomar Middle School. And what's so funny about that is that weather station, a weather bug station, became part of Earth Networks and is now owned by AEM. So 35 years later, I'm working for the company that sells the same equipment that was used on the school in Ingomar Middle School. So it's funny how things go full circle and the foundational aspects of North Allegheny. As I've traveled around the world, I would tell you that my interactions with people often were rooted back to North Allegheny. For example, meeting people, there was Mr. Sloan's cultural class that basically taught me not to be an idiot when I was out talking to people in foreign countries. I thought that was really good because I'll tell you, it's hard, and in the military in particular, not a lot of people understand how to communicate and how to understand different cultures, and I felt like he did a really great job of teaching us that. And then there was, I believe it was Mr. Nair that taught the government civics class in high school. Does that sound right? And as much as he tried to teach me, I can tell you, being in the halls of Congress, nobody can understand that place. There's no amount of education that will teach you how to go into a congressional office and get anything done. So I would just throw that out there. And then the one last thing that I would say is that in my time around the world, there's two things that are really common about Pittsburgh. One is that there's a Steelers bar in every single country around the world. That's a fact. And then the second thing is that people will inevitably ask you, are you really from Pittsburgh? Because apparently the boundaries of Pittsburgh go all the way up to Youngstown, east to Johnstown, Washington. Wheeling, West Virginia apparently is a suburb of Pittsburgh too. And when I told people that I went to North Allegheny, it was the first thing they say, that you know the deal. They say, you guys are cake eaters, right? You're the cake eaters. Fox Chapel, Mount Lebanon, and North Allegheny. And what I always told them was, you know what, we were really privileged to be part of a great community, a great school academically. But here's the difference between us and those other two schools. We'll take the spoon out of our mouth and we'll kick your butt on the field. So anyway, I'll just end with that, and I want to thank the NA Foundation team for putting this all together, your lovely communication, and the fact that you do this for us. It's really great to reconnect with this community again, and I thank you all for that. And thank you all. Have a great night.
We also have super cool awards too.
He graduated from North Allegheny in 2003 and went to Penn State's Honors College for his undergraduate degree, Georgetown for medical training, before returning to Penn State for his residency in pediatrics. Now he's teaching at Penn State while also treating some of the sickest children battling cancer and blood disorders. He got his start right here at NA from the class of 2003. Please welcome Dr. Daniel McCune.
All right. Good evening, and thank you so much for this incredible honor. It means a great deal to be recognized alongside the other awardees tonight, and hearing their stories today has been just so inspiring. Today I work as a specialist in pediatric hematology, oncology, and stem cell transplant at Penn State Children's Hospital. My clinical focus is on treating children with leukemia and lymphoma, and my research endeavors to improve the diagnosis and treatment of critically ill children with immune dysregulation. There is no question that the foundation of my career started with the well-rounded education I received at North Allegheny. After all, it's not every public high school that offers organic chemistry, and thanks to Mr. Weenan, as Mark mentioned, I survived it and somehow even enjoyed it, which still raises some questions about my judgment. Mr. Yanzik's world literature class was feared but truly unforgettable. He taught us how to think critically, how to see the world through different perspectives, and how stories, much like patients, deserve to be heard and understood. These are just two examples of the many outstanding teachers at North Allegheny who have helped shape my path, and I'm deeply grateful to them. Lastly, I would not be standing here without the love and support of my family, my parents, sisters, children, and so many others along the way. Mom, thank you for always being there and for making the trip back with me tonight. Your unwavering support means more than you know. I lost my dad to cancer when I was in college, and that experience has profoundly shaped both my life and career. It's why I continue to fight every day for children with cancer, because every kid deserves a chance at a long, healthy lifetime. So thank you again to the North Allegheny Foundation for this honor. It means more than I can say.
Our next honoree thought he would be a meteorologist, but a college course in geology changed everything. He graduated from then Waynesburg College with a degree in geology, went to RPI for his master's degree, and that led to a 40-year career exploring for oil and gas around the world. Please welcome from the NA class of 1972, Thomas Jones.
Good evening, everyone. I've been in Texas for 46 years, so I think I should say, howdy, y'all. All right. Okay. First, I'd like to thank the NA Foundation for this truly unexpected recognition. I thank Bill Rothenbach for the nomination. He was a prior awardee. Second, I'd like to recognize my 97-year-old mother, who's here. My brother Bill is here. He's a 75 graduate of NA. And his wife Tammy. Tammy, where'd you graduate? I forgot to ask you. Oh, I'm sorry. My mother's a Shaler graduate also. And last but not least, my wife Dawn, who's also a 72 graduate of NA and my high school sweetheart. So, the NA Foundation has a right to celebrate the success of their students. After all, my seed of so-called success was planted in this school district, being nurtured at SB Elementary, which is now, I think, Hong Kong Church. SB Elementary, Ingomar Junior High, Carson Middle School, and North Allegheny Senior High School when it was in the valley of Cumberland Road. My teachers truly cared about their students' success, be it in the classroom, art room, band room, or my partner. Okay. Well, help me through college and in my business world. As a student, my natural interest was in the sciences, and only necessarily in math, and certainly in sports. Ronald Bergman and Charles DiGrotolo made easy the concepts of trigonometry and pre-calc.
Is it the athletic part? Which part is it?
Charles Sabatos showed me the real-world application of the periodic table. Richard Stoneberg challenged me to become a better integrative scientist in physics class. Old John Davis, he helped me through biology class, gently but firmly. Football coach is Bob Miller. Frank Walton and Will Barber taught me that toughness is more than physical. I'm going to have to skip that paragraph. Okay, bear with me here. My passion for geology started in college. And I'd just like to point out to all y'all that the state of Pennsylvania is a geologic wonderland. All right, I'm going to have to give you some little passion of geology here. Several episodes of mountain building over 500 million years and erosion of those mountains has left you with a beautifully distorted array of sedimentary, metamorphic, and igneous rocks, the surface of which has been modified by long-lived rivers whose courses were impacted by continental glaciers. OMG, what more can an earth scientist want? Okay, bear with me. I want you to turn and look to the east, please. This is the east. I checked on the way in. I want you to turn and look to the east because 300 million years ago, there were 25,000-foot mountains over there that, standing right here, 300 miles away, despite the Earth's curvature, you could see the top of those mountains in Philadelphia, all because Africa had collided with North America here. So, the state's geology has even affected the course of U.S. history. And I want you to visit the Gettysburg battlefield to find out why. I'm not going to tell you. You've got to go to Gettysburg to find out why. So I encourage you to please investigate and enjoy the geology of Pennsylvania and discover its world-class charm, please. Thank you. Excellent.
What? Don't go anywhere. Yeah.
Our next honoree comes from arguably the most impressive category of the night, our young alumni. What these individuals have done since graduating from North Allegheny is impressive, incredible, and is making the world a better place. She is a general surgery resident at Columbia University's Irving Medical Center. She graduated from Duke and the University of Pittsburgh's medical school, and she is just getting started. She's planning a career in vascular surgery. Please welcome, from the class of 2011, Alexandra Sensasti.
Good evening. Thank you to the North Allegheny Foundation for inviting me here this evening. Being selected as the Young Alumni category is such an honor because I know and keep in touch with a lot of my classmates who are so impressive. So to be selected for this honor is really something special. So I want to give a little bit of context for my recognition this evening. Mrs. Urbanik, who a lot of you know, was a gold teacher for many years at North Allegheny High School. And when I took a break from residency to do my research time, she followed along in a journey with me when I went to Italy, and I worked on the island of Lampedusa, which is about 110 kilometers off of the coast of Tunisia, and it's where a lot of the migrant refugees land who are coming to Europe from northern Africa. And to put into context the importance of North Allegheny, there are many teachers, luckily, who I've gotten to reconnect with this evening, who have influenced my ability to achieve such high honors in the little time since I've graduated. But one who can't be here is Tony Caruso. And when I first moved to New York City, a lot of the teachers at NA knew how badly I wanted to move to New York. And when I first moved there, it was deep in COVID, and I moved to the Upper West Side, and right next to my apartment was Dante Alighieri Park, which I used to send a picture of Dante's statue to Dr. Caruso every single time I would pass it, because he was the one who really opened my imagination to the idea of reconnecting with your heritage and exploring the world beyond just the finite space in which you were raised. And so until a few months before he passed away, he and I continued to exchange these photos. And when I landed in Lampedusa, I reflected on the fact that the academics of North Allegheny go without saying how special they are. But I think the thing that, to me, made me reflect and think of him was the sense of curiosity that you develop as a student at North Allegheny to think about how your world can be expanded, how you can connect with people who seemingly have absolutely nothing in common with you, who don't even speak your first language, but at the same time can change your worldview and can become not only some of your closest mentors, but some of your closest friends as well. So I definitely, for those of you who knew Mr. Caruso, I miss him very dearly, and I'm so grateful to him and all of the teachers at North Allegheny who set me forward on a path to achieve so much at such a young age, and I hope that I can only continue their work and to continue to make them proud in the years to come.
For the first time this year, we are honoring a North Allegheny graduate in memoriam. Dan Stack grew up in McCandless, graduated from NA in 1992, and immediately he began serving his community. He married his high school sweetheart, Suzanne, and they started a family. Dan's career and life centered around the firehouse, first working as a volunteer in Ingomar, then at the Highland Volunteer Fire Department. In 1999, he became fire marshal and emergency management coordinator for the town of McCandless. And in 2021, he became Director of Safety and Security for our very own North Allegheny School District. On May 8th, 2024, Dan Stack and his son Riley responded to a structure fire, and that would be the last call of his career. 2 days later, Dan died unexpectedly. His family and community grieved, but his legacy of service, love, and commitment live on. And tonight, we honor him in the Community Impact category. Please welcome, representing his family, Matt Howell.
Good evening. I am Matt Howell, Dan's brother-in-law. Someone said earlier today that they were like the backup for the Broncos or something. I'm like, 4 people didn't want to do this. I'm Will Howard or someone. But I'm honored to be here to accept this award on behalf of Dan and his family. Thank you to the foundation and the Distinguished Alumni Awards Committee for this honor that you've given Dan. Trust me, we all wish he were here to give this speech tonight. And if he did, it would be much funnier and much, much longer. He would be truly humbled by this honor, truly, as his family is. Sue, sons Riley, Kelby, daughter Lainey, Dan's sister Karen, Dan's brother Brian. Riley, by the way, cannot be here because he is in Cincinnati, where he recently accepted a position on the Cincinnati Fire Department. When you think of Dan, the words that come to mind are faith, family, and service. And his family here tonight could tell you that there are many other words that would describe Dan, some that might require some Pittsburghese. And I'm sure there are many stories. We have a couple of tables of firefighters here. Appreciate you coming to honor Dan tonight, and they can tell you the stories that I can't tell. But those 3 values, faith, family, and service, are the bedrock of Dan's life. I can't think of a better recipient for this award than Dan. He and his brother and sister grew up in a home with 2 parents who also valued those same things. And they modeled that and passed those values on. And Dan took them on as his lifelong mission. The story's told in the family at the age of 3 that they asked Dan, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said, "I want to be a firefighter and make fires." He was confused, but he did eventually figure it out when he got on the fire department. So as soon as he was able, he joined the volunteer fire department. And that was the first step in this life of service to the community. He served, as you heard, as the McCandless Fire Marshal. He was an instructor at the Allegheny County Fire Academy, some would say a legendary instructor. He was excellent at his job. He was also, as mentioned, part of North Allegheny and also did work for OSHA-type work for an engineering firm. Along the way, married the love of his life, Sue, 3 remarkable children, and Dan was extremely proud of his family. I know that North Allegheny gave Dan an excellent, challenging education, also opportunities to develop his leadership skills. His teachers, his coaches were models of the type of man that he aspired to be. And he took that mantle upon himself to inspire a generation of firefighters in our area, as well as countless other men and women who were in his path, who he convinced to be servants to their communities as well. His impact on the volunteer firefighters alone in this community and throughout Allegheny County will continue for generations to come. Dan's greatest impact, however, was on a personal level. He was truly an Irishman with the gift of gab. Once you met Dan, you became his lifelong friend. He was present when you were with him. When you talked with him, you knew you were the most important person in the world to him right then. His humor was contagious. It was really almost impossible to have a bad day when Dan was around. And if you were friends, you were undoubtedly invited to one of his cookouts that he would have at his home, where he would say, we're just having a couple people over, and there would be 50 people in the backyard. When you got there, and Dan is at the grill, he's got Jimmy Buffett blasting on the speakers, he's grilling up steaks, and he could make a fine steak. And he was well known for his abilities to make a margarita. With Dan, if there was a phone call for help, Dan answered, and he did whatever he could to go help and do that, whether it was with community days, leading a blood drive for a child in need, or the tones of a fire call. Dan was ready to go. He was on the move and would take up whatever role was assigned to him. At his funeral, Dan's son Riley coined the phrase, WWDD, what would Dan do? I would encourage each of us to consider that thought. What can we do to make our community a better place? What positive actions can we take to help those around us? Wherever life takes you, in Dan's honor, you can go and you can serve, support others, and strengthen those communities that you're part of. For Dan, that was a lifestyle. I know Dan was deeply proud of the fact that he graduated from North Allegheny, and again, would have been humbled to be nominated. Although, if you talk to Dan's brother and sister, they will tell you he would have not missed the opportunity to say, see, I told you I was a big deal. How right he was. How right Dan was. On behalf of Dan's family and friends, an army of friends, thank you for this honor.
One more honoree tonight. 3 housekeeping notes first. Number one, after he gives his speech, we're asking all the honorees to line up over here for some pictures. Number 2, make sure you take your gifts that are on the table, and honorees, your centerpieces along with it. And number 3, a number that Alice just whispered in my ear. So far, the NA Foundation has given $1 million in grants and scholarships. $1 million. It's incredible. And again, if you can donate, page 10 in your booklet. The spirit of North Allegheny isn't something you can easily explain. My wife, for example, didn't go to NA. She knows I'm proud of the district. She knows I'm excited that our children will be NA Tigers. But unless you went here, it's tough to get. How on earth do you explain that a can of peas in your locker gave you the strength to get through the day? Our final honoree did that, instilling confidence in the tens of thousands of students he educated over the years in the most relatable ways. He is perhaps the best educator I had in my 13 years at North Allegheny, and many people around my age would agree. 50 years in education as a teacher, coach, guidance counselor, principal. He was even our acting superintendent when we needed a hand. I say this with all the sincerity in the world. This world is a better place because of this man. Please join me in welcoming the one and only Dr. Lawrence Butterini.
For those of you that know me, I'm a walker and a talker. And believe it or not, I'm nervous. In my many years in education, I'm very accustomed to public speaking, but it's usually to students, to teachers, and it's a motivational type speech. The hallelujah, it's great to be alive. And for those of you that are wondering, somebody at the table, what can of peas, the beginning of each school year, we would start the school year with, I call motivational assemblies. We would break the kids into usually your gym classes, small groups. So it wasn't the whole darn school, but small groups of 40, 50 kids. And it took 3 or 4 weeks for me to get through, the 800 seniors, 800 juniors. But one of the highlights of the speech was I would always have a can of peas. And on that can of peas was the Jolly Green Giant. I don't know if some of you old-timers like me remember that. I don't even know if that company's still in business. There's a picture of this green giant, his biceps showing, just a picture of strength, okay? And peas meant positive, enthusiastic attitude. And the message to the students and to the staff was, your attitude is everything. Doesn't matter what happens, good things will happen, negative things will happen. That's part of life. But it's what happens inside, your attitude. And if you're like that Jolly Green Giant and you've got a positive, enthusiastic attitude, you're going to be a very successful person and you're going to inspire other people. So that's what the can of peas are about. Anyhow, I'd really like to thank Megan, Alice, and Ann, and the entire foundation for the work that you do. As was mentioned, $1 million to our kids, to our communities. So thank you very much for the work you guys do for this beautiful evening. You can't beat great people, reconnecting with former colleagues, former students, meeting new acquaintances, and delicious food. So I thank all of you very, very much for this enjoyable evening. I also want to recognize my wife. She refuses to come up here with me, okay? But she is the rock of our family. Her courage, her strength, her wisdom, her love has enabled me, our children, our grandchildren to do many, many things. So Kathleen, Ann, she, and Butterini, as I said, probably deserves to be up here a lot more than I do. Now, I'm probably going to get a little emotional here because Dan was a former student of mine, and Tony Caruso was a very close friend of mine. And I'm Italian, Greek, so I do get emotional. And when you talk about North Allegheny, I get very emotional. Again, as you can read from the program, I got to spend 19 wonderful years as a high school principal, 3 or 4 years, Dan, the principal at Marshall Middle School, talked me into coming back and substituting for 3 years or so. And then I was fortunate enough to be asked for a few months to step in between superintendents. Our 3 children graduated from North Allegheny. 2 of my grandchildren are in the North Allegheny schools, one at Carson, one at McKnight, and the little guy is with me and my wife most of the day, but he'll be going to North Allegheny also. So North Allegheny has meant so much to us. So I sincerely thank you for this recognition, but I do want to be honest with you. I feel very, very awkward, and I think those of you, the teachers here, would understand that. I just, as an educational leader and as a leader throughout life, you learn one thing. My family instilled this in me, the church instilled it in me, my coaches, my teachers, okay? It's not about me. It's not about I, it's about the team, the family, the unit. And it's that old acronym, TEAM, T-E-A-M. Together, everyone achieves more. And that's really the story of the North Allegheny community, is that we work together as a team. Okay, I was raised that way. My life experience has been that way. And North Allegheny, okay, is a prime example of that. Those of you that know me, you know I'm a storyteller. And one of the reasons I'm a little nervous this evening is many, many, many years ago. I'm an old guy, 78 years old. So many, many years ago, as a young, stupid kid, okay, I was in the United States Marine Corps. And in boot camp, we had a drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Shamar. And I think of Staff Sergeant Shamar, and he wasn't related to our previous principal, Paul Shamar. Because I can remember one day during boot camp, I did an unforgivable thing. Okay, we were doing an exercise or something, and I guess I must have smiled or did something. And so Staff Sergeant Shamar grabbed me, put me up against a tree, and I can't use the language that he used. It was very colorful, but somewhat inappropriate for this gathering. But he said, "You little maggot, what are you smiling about? This isn't about you. This is about your fire team, your squad, your rifle company, your battalion, your regiment, the United States Marine Corps, and the United States of America. This is not about you." And that experience cemented everything that my family, the church, that I had been talked to about, that I had been shown. That really cemented it. And I have to admit, today when we pulled into the parking lot and I walked into here, I took a deep breath because I said, God, I hope Staff Sergeant Shamar isn't around. He would really be angry that I would be accepting any type of reward. Because you're taught, or I was taught very early, that as a leader, you take all responsibility. No matter what happens, it's your responsibility. And any praise or recognition, you defray that to the team, to the family, to the unit. So that's why I do feel somewhat awkward, because we've lived in North Allegheny for 50 years, and the team of teachers, bus drivers, custodians, secretaries, administrators, school board members, okay, that I had the privilege and honor to work with is just unbelievable. My only regret about tonight, it's been such an enjoyable evening, is that I can't have all of them up here receiving this award, because that's really what this award is about, spirit of community. It's a team award. The teachers, the custodian, the people at North Allegheny, okay, they get up, they step up, and they do what they need to do to empower our students, to empower our community. And that's what makes North Allegheny such a special place. It's just like a chain. We're all links in that chain. It doesn't matter what your responsibility is. As I said, whether you're the bus driver, the custodian, the secretary, the guidance counselor, you're part of that chain. Okay? And that's what makes North Allegheny such a great community. There's a story of the redwood trees out in California. Okay, and I can remember one day when we were out there, and man, those trees are so big, so beautiful, and I made the comment, yeah, their roots must go down 30, 40, 50 feet, because with all the winds and so forth, they never tumble. And one little park ranger came up to me and said something that I should have, he says, no, their roots are shallow. Okay, but they're all close together, and you've got 100 of these redwood trees with their roots interlocking. And then he used the word, it's like a team. Standing alone, that redwood tree is going to be blown down. But when they interlock and their roots work together, nothing is going to topple those redwood trees. And that reminds me of North Allegheny. And that's what we do for this community, is working together, providing and empowering our kids and our community to do great things. As someone mentioned, there is no I in team. And it's a collective effort. And I look at this award, and I'm very proud of it that you presented, that it's an award not so much for me, but it's a collective award for the team that was, is, and will be the North Allegheny community. I'm a storyteller. 2 last stories, and I promise you, I know everybody wants to get home. Okay? Another person that had a great influence on my life was a Gunnery Sergeant Hawk. And many, many days when things didn't go well, he would say, well, Lieutenant, things didn't go real well today. Okay? But you know what? Tomorrow's going to be better. Any day above ground is a good day. So saddle up, because the cavalry ain't coming, Lieutenant. We are the cavalry. We've got to make good things happen. And that's what all of us have to do as community members, is we have to step up and empower people. We lift ourselves up when we go and we lift other people up. Okay, last story. And I hope this sticks with you, because it sticks with me every morning. Another very influential role model that I was blessed to have is Father Vincent. Okay? And I wasn't an ideal student. Okay? And Father Vincent would grab me, and he was a big, bulky man. He would grab me and literally lift me up the ground and say, son, it's not always what you want, it's what you must do. And he said, if you do these 4 things, you will have lived a beneficial life. Do as much good as you can, to as many people as you can, in any way that you can, as long as you can. And if you do that, son, you're going to be successful. And that's what North Allegheny does. That's what the community does. It does as much good for as many people in so many ways, like the foundation, for so long. And very proud to have been part of the community, to work with the teachers and the people, many of the people present here. And it's so great to see some of the former students. So again, I thank you all for the award, and I urge you, okay, wake up tomorrow morning. It's a great day to be alive, any day above ground, and we can go out and do great things working together. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
You're not going anywhere.
If that happened to be your first Dr. B speech, you understand how him presenting you with a can of peas convinced you to have a good day and a good year and be the best student and the best citizen you can be. Congratulations. All right, we are wrapping up the evening. Once again, all the honorees, please come up here for one final picture. Don't forget to take your generous gifts from the center of your table. And again, if you can, on page 10, donate, donate, donate. They've raised over $1 million for grants for this school and this community. Thanks for having me, everybody. Congratulations, and have a great night.